Raising a monarch. Bringing home a newly hatched caterpillar. We searched the leaves of milkweed plants that we knew were in bloom on trails near our house for eggs. We didn't find any eggs, but we did find this tiny caterpillar. And because he was on milkweed, we hoped it might be a monarch caterpillar. We brought him home on the leaf. The caterpillar was so small that we lost him. We placed the tiny caterpillar with his leaf in a pop-up net that we had and added lots more fresh milkweed leaves for him to eat. But he was so small that we lost track of him. We kept checking for him and hoping he was in there somewhere. Finally, after about 4 or 5 days, he was big enough and his stripes were bright enough for us to find him. Can you see the tiny caterpillar? He grew and grew, even while we were away. We took a trip for the 4th of July and had to leave the caterpillar on his own. We wanted to make sure he had plenty of food, so we gathered lots of milkweed branches and put them in floral foam soaked with water to leave in the cage. We were so surprised when we came home a week later. The caterpillar was so much bigger. And there was a second caterpillar that had come into the cage on the fresh milkweed leaves we left inside. Just a few hours later, the caterpillar was attaching himself to the top of the cage. We noticed the caterpillar had stopped eating and moved to the clear plastic top of the cage. He seemed to be using a silky material to attach himself there. That evening, his body was in a J shape, and he was suspended from the top of the cage. They call it J-hooking, the position that caterpillars get in before they form a chrysalis. Overnight, the caterpillar became a chrysalis. The next morning, when we checked on him, we found a chrysalis instead. We didn't see him change since we were sleeping, but we did catch the second one in action. Here is a clip of it shedding its last skin and becoming a chrysalis.
Want me to turn on the light? I know. She's doing it like the video. Look. No. She's got it. She's got it. No, come over here, Robert. You can see from there.
You're doing it.
He's splitting open. He's shedding his skin.
No.
Look at
Charlie. Charlie. It's happening right now.
You're getting the glare. No wind. No wind. Close that. Close that.
Suzanne,
Yes, close that.
there's no wind.
It's cold. He's shedding his skin. Look, he just shed his skin, Charlie. He's totally doing it.
While waiting for the butterfly to emerge, the second caterpillar was growing fast. A chrysalis just sits there for 9 to 14 days. Within the chrysalis, though, the old body parts of the caterpillar are undergoing a remarkable transformation called metamorphosis to become the beautiful parts that make up the butterfly that will emerge. We added fresh milkweed leaves for the second caterpillar, and just like the first one, he ate all day and grew quickly. Later, we realized we had a third caterpillar that came in on those leaves. The butterfly emerges. The day before the monarch butterfly emerges, the chrysalis becomes transparent, and you can see the colors of the butterfly showing through. After 12 days in the chrysalis, our first caterpillar emerged, just yesterday, July 24. You can look for eggs or caterpillars on milkweed too and watch them grow. After hatching from an egg, monarch caterpillars grow for about 2 weeks. Its 5 stages of growth are called instars. Then it begins its metamorphosis. The caterpillar we found on a leaf was in stage 1. If you bring an egg or caterpillar home, keep it on its leaf and put it in a netted cage or big jar with a vented lid. They don't need any water, just lots of fresh milkweed. More on metamorphosis and life cycles. In March and April, the monarch eggs are laid on milkweed plants. They hatch into baby caterpillars, also called the larvae. It takes about 4 days for the eggs to hatch. Then the baby caterpillar doesn't do much more than eat milkweed in order to grow. After about 2 weeks, the caterpillar will be fully grown and find a place to attach itself so that it can start the process of metamorphosis. It will attach itself to a stem or a leaf using silk and transform into a chrysalis. Although from the outside, the 10 days of the chrysalis phase seems to be a time when nothing is happening, it is really a time of rapid change. The monarch butterfly will emerge from the pupa and fly away, feeding on flowers and just enjoying the short life it has left, which is only about 2 to 6 weeks. This first generation monarch butterfly will then die after laying eggs for generation number 2. The second generation of monarch butterflies is born in May and June, and then the third generation will be born in July and August. These monarch butterflies will go through exactly the same 4-stage life cycle as the first generation did, dying 2 to 6 weeks after it becomes a beautiful monarch butterfly.